As policymakers attempt getting to the root of ghost flood control projects, the world's highest court, the International Court of Justice, earlier ruled polluting countries may be in breach of international law if they do not protect the planet from the existential threat posed by climate change. The advisory opinion marks the first time the ICJ, based in The Hague, has formally addressed the climate crisis. The ICJ has made it clear polluting countries must not only cut back emissions, but also provide solutions to climate harms. With us now for more is Nisha Alicer, Chief Equity Strategist for DA Market Securities. Good to see you again, Nisha. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Kathy. Good to see you again.
Okay, so funding for adaptation projects like flood control here are currently being investigated. How much of an impact is this having on the Philippines, as the ICJ has made countries accountable for the first time on the climate crisis?
Well, the ICJ focuses actually on polluting countries that have impacted on small island developing states. It is very pertinent that locally we manage our funds as well. So a reason to be able to receive funds is if we have proper structures in place that are transparent, that are able to really prove and facilitate just transition for people. So it's very important for both external and internal systems to be in place to make sure that the money goes in the right places.
Right. Are we talking about the government or the private sector or both?
Well, government definitely has funds that go into these infrastructures, but at the same time, these infrastructures don't have to be concrete. They can be green. There's green gray infrastructure. There's nature-based solutions. So there's a lot of technology also that we really need to be able to access today to have smart climate technology work for us. At the same time, private corporations, there are companies that are responsible for the higher emissions, and they are responsible also to be able to support adaptation measures as well as mitigation ones.
And we don't have to look very far because flood control projects are under adaptation solutions. So that's a good place to start.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, the Philippines is one of the most vulnerable. We are an archipelagic state. Most people live by the coast, and there are already studies that talk about submersions across nationwide. So as someone in development management, I definitely want to advocate for more transparency in government. And it's really about accountability for all parties involved. There is such a thing that we call an inaction triangle, where civil sector might point to private sector or private sector might point to government. But the truth of the matter is there are a lot of like silent understandings that procurement processes can be very opaque. A lot of misuse of funds can happen at this stage. And there are a lot of parties involved, so it's impossible that we cannot be more transparent about those. It has to be that people must not be complicit, organizations must not be complicit, and they must try to change the systems, especially as it's an existential crisis.
So can Philippine corporates take the lead then, considering that an unsustainable business is bad business?
That's right. Yes. A lot of our Philippine corporations are really poised to be able to provide that rigor in terms of being able to access that funding that is available for green transition measures. And at the same time, we know that being climate resilient also means market efficiency. In fact, you're able to protect yourself or insure yourself from possible losses. That can already be foreseen, that can be computed somehow. And so corporations will be able to support government. But again, there has to be checks and balances. And I think I also would like to advocate for more inclusive participation, not just the big companies, but there are a lot of very viable companies nationwide that can support infrastructure projects that can also support more transparency and more accountability.
All right, that's loud and clear then. Thank you so much for your insights, Nisha Alicer of DA Market Securities.